Stop doing the one thing that millions of seniors are told will save their muscles, and is quietly making it worse. I spent 35 years as a doctor treating patients just like you. I have watched strong, healthy people in their early 60s become frail within a decade, not from a major illness, but from one silent process happening inside their muscle cells right now. And I spent the last years of my career frustrated that almost no one in medicine talks about it honestly. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The advice most of you have been given, eat more protein, do a little walking, is incomplete. Not because protein is bad, it matters, but your body after 60 does not use protein the way it did at 40. Something has changed deep inside your cells. A signal is being blocked. And until that block is removed, you can eat all the protein in the world, and your muscles will still shrink year after year. Today I am going to show you 5 ordinary fruits that target the exact systems causing that blockage. Not just anti-inflammatories, the specific switches that tell your muscles whether to grow or waste away. I want to be honest, sharing this information cost me some professional friendships. Here's what I want you to hold in mind as we go. First, there is a mistake I am going to reveal shortly, something many of you are likely doing every single morning that is working against you. Second, one of these 5 fruits contains a compound that scientists discovered only by studying why some elderly people in certain parts of the world keep their strength well into their 80s. You will find out which one in the second half. Third, there is a reason your doctor has probably never mentioned any of this, and I will answer that before the video ends. This video is about 25 minutes. The most important information comes in the final segment. Stick with me. And before we go further, when did you first notice your body was not recovering the way it used to? Leave me a comment. I read every single one. The first fruit, green kiwi. Here is the mistake. Every morning, millions of people over 60 wake up, take their vitamins, eat a small breakfast, and feel like they are doing the right things. What almost none of them know is that their muscles have been quietly breaking down through the night. And the single most important nutrient for stopping that breakdown is one almost nobody talks about in connection with muscle: vitamin C. Not for fighting colds. I am here because of a study published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2020. Researchers looked at data from more than 13,000 men and women between the ages of 42 and 82. What they found should have been on the front page of every health newsletter in America. Women who ate the highest amounts of vitamin C had muscle mass roughly 3% greater than those eating the lowest amounts. 3% sounds small until you know that after 50, most people lose about 0.5% to 1% of their muscle every year. 3% is years of protection in one dietary change. Here is why. About 2/3 of your body's vitamin C is stored in your muscles, not in your immune system. It sits there to make something called carnitine, which is the fuel that powers your muscle fibers. Without enough carnitine, your muscles run slow, tire quickly, and break down faster under normal daily activity. Vitamin C also helps build the connective tissue that holds your muscle fibers in place and connects them to your bones. When those levels drop, everything gets weaker, quietly, gradually, year by year. The mistake most people make is thinking orange juice handles this. Processed juice loses a large portion of its vitamin C from heat and air. Even fortified juice does not deliver it as well as whole, fresh fruit. The fruit is the green kiwi, the small, furry Hayward variety. 2 green kiwis in the morning, eaten with a protein source like eggs or Greek yogurt. Green kiwi also contains a natural digestive enzyme that helps older adults absorb the building blocks from protein much faster, so your muscles get what they need more quickly. You are not just getting vitamin C, you are getting a natural protein accelerator built right into the fruit. Within 4 to 6 weeks, most people feel a difference in how their legs respond in the morning. That heavy, slow-to-wake feeling when you first stand up begins to ease. That is your muscles starting to refuel properly. The next fruit works through a completely different system, something most of you have never heard of, discovered while researchers were studying a mystery inside aging cells. If what you just heard was useful, press the subscribe button just below this video right now. This channel puts out new health information made specifically for people your age every single week. Think of it as a weekly visit with a doctor who actually has time to sit and talk. One press means you will not have to go searching again. If you leave without subscribing, there is a real chance you will not find your way back. And what I am about to share matters more than the opening. The second fruit, red grapes. Here's what happens when your muscles stay underfueled for too long. Certain cells inside your muscle tissue stop doing their job. They stop repairing, they stop dividing, but they do not die. They sit there and release a slow drip of chemicals that signal nearby healthy cells to slow down too. They block the signals your muscles need to grow and repair. Think of them as squatters that have moved in and will not leave, and they are quietly poisoning the neighborhood. Researchers discovered that a natural compound found in the skin of red and purple grapes can activate a specific repair switch inside your cells that clears out this problem. In 2017, a study was published in the Journals of Gerontology. 30 healthy men and women between the ages of 65 and 80 were divided into two groups. Both groups exercised. One group also received this grape compound daily for 12 weeks. The results were clear. The grape group gained 14% more muscle power in their legs than the exercise-only group. Their muscles also showed more energy factories inside each fiber, and they fatigued more slowly. Here is how it works in plain language. This compound flips a repair switch inside your cells. When that switch is on, it tells the worn-out, troublemaking cells to stop their damage. It encourages your muscle fibers to build more energy factories. And it turns on your body's own internal cleanup system, which removes old, broken-down parts inside your cells that would otherwise slow repair. Think of it as calling in a cleaning crew that has been locked out for years. The most common mistake is reaching for red wine. The amount of this compound in a glass of wine is a fraction of what the research used. The real source is whole red or black grapes, 1 to 2 cups daily, eating the skins. Rinsing and eating them whole preserves the benefit. Seedless varieties work perfectly. Within 6 to 8 weeks, most people feel their recovery getting shorter. A walk that left your legs tired for 2 days starts leaving them tired for 1. That is, your muscle repair system waking back up. What comes next has the strongest human clinical trial evidence in this entire video. A study done specifically in adults aged 65 to 90. You have made it through 2 fruits, and I want to acknowledge that. Most people scroll past this kind of information. You are doing something different. If you press the thumbs up button on this video right now, YouTube saves it to your liked videos so you can find it again easily and share it with someone who needs it. Press it now. So far, you have learned how green kiwi restores the fuel supply for your muscles, and how red grapes wake up the repair switch that aging cells have turned off. Here is what I want you to hold on to from the first half. Both fruits are fixing the same underlying failure, your muscle cells losing their ability to produce energy and clean house. That slow, heavy feeling in the morning is not just aging, it is specific biology, and it responds to specific food. Coming up, I will show you 3 more fruits, but the last one surprised me the most, because the discovery did not come from studying muscles at all. It came from studying the gut, and what researchers found there changes everything. That is still ahead. If you have not yet pressed subscribe, do it now. In the coming weeks, this channel is releasing a video on one blood test most doctors never order for patients over 60, a test that can reveal a hidden reason your muscles are losing ground. Subscribing is the only way YouTube sends that to you. Press subscribe. It is free and takes 5 seconds. The third fruit, pomegranate. Every muscle cell in your body runs on tiny energy factories. When you were younger, your body constantly replaced old, worn-out ones with fresh new ones. After 60, that replacement process slows down in most people. The result is that your muscles gradually fill with tired, broken-down factories that produce less power and more waste. Your muscles do not feel weak because the fibers are gone. They feel weak because the engines inside them are failing. A compound your gut produces after eating pomegranate has been shown to restart that replacement process. In 2022, a study was published in the journal Cell Reports Medicine. Adults who received this compound daily for 4 months showed roughly 12% improvement in leg muscle strength compared to those who received a placebo. Their ability to use oxygen during activity improved, their 6-minute walking distance improved, and markers of inflammation in their blood dropped significantly. 12% stronger legs in 4 months. That is a real, measurable result in a properly controlled trial. Here is the important detail most people miss. Not everyone's gut can produce this compound from pomegranate. Studies suggest fewer than 40% of adults over 60 have the gut bacteria needed to do it efficiently. This is not a reason to avoid pomegranate. It is a reason to eat it regularly, because consistent eating gradually builds up the right bacteria over weeks and months. Half a medium pomegranate, or a small glass of pure pomegranate juice with no added sugar, 3 to 4 times per week. Eating the seeds is preferable because the fiber helps feed the bacteria you need. Most people do not notice much in the first 4 weeks. By weeks 8 to 12, the most common reports are that the legs feel more responsive and that everyday activities are less tiring. I want to ask you something. Have you noticed that certain movements, getting up from a low chair, climbing stairs, carrying grocery bags, have become harder over the last few years? Not impossible, just harder than they used to be. Leave me a comment with an honest answer. I personally read every comment on this channel. Right now you are past halfway. You have stayed with real, specific health information for this long. That says something about you. If you have not yet subscribed, lean in and hear me directly. Press subscribe. It is how you make sure the next video finds you. The fourth fruit, mango. There is a type of damage happening inside your muscles right now that most people never connect to the stiffness and soreness they feel. A slow, quiet inflammation, not the kind that causes fever or obvious pain, that runs through your bloodstream year after year. It does not hit your muscles like an injury. It works more like rust. It sends a signal that tells your muscle cells to slow down building and speed up breaking down. It blocks your body's main muscle growth signal. It turns your muscles from a building site into a demolition site. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021 followed more than 2,400 adults for an average of 12 years. Adults who ate more of a specific group of plant pigments, the ones that give orange and yellow fruits their color, had significantly better grip strength and walking speed at the end of that 12-year period. The difference showed up consistently in both men and women, even after accounting for protein intake and exercise levels. These plant pigments work by embedding themselves into your muscle cell walls and blocking the rust-like damage that triggers the inflammation signal. They do not just reduce general inflammation, they specifically protect the environment inside your muscle cells so that growth signals can get through. Mango is one of the richest sources of these pigments. 1 cup of fresh mango provides several forms of them at once. But here is the important part. These pigments need fat to be absorbed properly. Eating mango alone, as a standalone snack with nothing else, means much of the benefit passes right through you. Always eat mango with a small amount of fat. A spoonful of almond butter, a few nuts, or a small amount of full-fat yogurt. That simple step doubles or triples how much you actually absorb. Half a cup to 1 cup of fresh or frozen mango, 3 to 4 times per week, always with a little fat. Frozen mango is just as good as fresh for this purpose. By weeks 4 to 6, the most common thing people notice is that their muscles feel less stiff after sitting for a while. That low-level ache in the legs and hips after an hour in a chair starts to ease. That is, the rust slowing down. The last fruit surprised me most of all, and what I discovered about it changed how I think about the whole muscle problem. The fifth fruit, banana. Here is the part almost no one in mainstream medicine talks about. And when I explain it to patients, it tends to produce a long silence. Everything you have done for your muscles, the exercise, the protein, the supplements, depends on a system in your gut working properly. A system no one has ever told you about. A review of 12 studies, published in 2024 in a peer-reviewed public health journal, looked at the connection between gut bacteria and muscle health in adults over 50. The finding was consistent across all the studies. People with fewer of a specific type of beneficial bacteria in their gut had weaker grip strength, slower walking speed, and less muscle mass. This was not one study in one country. It showed up everywhere, repeatedly, in different populations. The connection between your gut and your muscles is not a theory. It is a well-documented finding. Here is how it works in plain language. Certain beneficial bacteria in your colon produce a protective compound that travels through your bloodstream into your muscle tissue. That compound quiets the inflammation signal we talked about with mango. It supports the muscle growth signal that keeps your fibers building rather than breaking down. And in most adults over 60, the population of these bacteria is quietly shrinking, especially in people eating a low-fiber diet. These bacteria need a specific type of fiber to survive and do their work. The most practical and accessible source of that fiber is something almost everyone already buys, a slightly underripe banana. This is the mistake almost everyone makes with bananas. A fully ripe, soft, spotty banana converts most of its special fiber into regular sugar during the ripening process. The fiber is largely gone. A banana that is still slightly firm, a little green at the tips, not fully yellow, still contains that fiber in large amounts. Not rock-hard green, just not fully ripe. That small difference in ripeness is the entire difference between feeding your gut bacteria and not. One slightly underripe banana in the morning, before your largest meal, gives those bacteria what they need. Within 3 to 4 weeks, most people notice their energy pattern shifting. Afternoon tiredness becomes a little less heavy. That is, the gut-muscle connection beginning to work. The action plan. Here is your practical starting point for tomorrow. Morning. 2 green kiwis with a protein breakfast. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Then 1 slightly underripe banana. The kiwi helps your body absorb the protein faster. The banana feeds the gut bacteria your muscles depend on. Evening, before or with dinner. 1 cup of whole red or black grapes with the skins, and either half a pomegranate or a small glass of pure pomegranate juice. The grapes support your muscle repair overnight. The pomegranate works with your gut to rebuild your muscle energy factories while you sleep. Mango 2 to 3 times per week, at any meal, always with a small amount of fat, nuts, nut butter, or full-fat yogurt. Do not expect dramatic change in the first 2 weeks. Your body is adjusting. Evaluate at the end of month 1, not day 10. By then, most people notice their morning stiffness is reduced and their legs feel more reliable during the day. One safety note: pomegranate juice can interact with certain blood thinners and some blood pressure medications. If you take warfarin or any heart or blood pressure medication, check with your doctor before adding it. The close. I want to tell you something I thought about for a long time. Near the end of my career, I had a patient in her early 70s, a retired school teacher who came to see me because she could not walk her dog the way she used to. She was apologetic about it, the way patients are when they feel embarrassed that something ordinary has become hard. She said, "I know it is just aging. I just want to know if there is anything I can do." I did not give her the conversation she deserved that day. I gave her a pamphlet and a referral. It was only later, reading research I had not made time for, that I understood what was happening inside her muscle cells and what might have helped her. If you have ever been told that your weakness and tiredness are just part of getting older, your frustration is completely justified. You are not imagining it. What you feel is real biology, and real biology responds to real changes. Your body does not stop being capable of improvement at 60, or 70, or 80. The studies in this video were done on people your age, showing real results. The reason your doctor likely has not mentioned any of this is not that they do not care. It is that a 15-minute appointment cannot hold this conversation. That is a problem with the system, not your doctor personally. But you deserve this information. Here is what I want you to write down. Your body's decline is not as fixed as you have been told. Your muscle cells respond to what you feed them. That is not wishful thinking. That is biology. The fear of losing your independence, of needing help with the things you have always done yourself, is real. But the door is not closed. The cellular environment that supports your muscles is something you can influence, starting tonight. Eat a kiwi before bed. Just one. One small step in the direction your body is asking you to go. The wrap-up. Which of these 5 fruits surprised you most, and have you already been eating any of them? Leave me a comment. I am genuinely curious. Today we covered green kiwi for restoring the fuel supply in your muscles, red grapes for waking up the cellular repair system, pomegranate for rebuilding your muscle energy factories, mango for blocking the slow inflammation that stops muscle growth, and slightly underripe banana for feeding the gut bacteria your muscles silently depend on. The next video on this channel covers one specific blood test that most doctors never order for patients over 60. A test that can reveal a hidden hormonal reason your muscles are losing ground, even when you are eating well and staying active. Tap subscribe just below this video so YouTube sends it to you. It is free and takes 5 seconds. This video is for education only and is not medical advice. Before changing your diet, especially if you take any prescription medications, speak with your own doctor. What we covered today is food, with real research behind it, but your personal health history matters. Thank you for watching.